freaky, so stick until the end. We start with this guy. Remember him? This is Richard Spencer. He briefly became the most famous neo-Nazi in America after Trump's first election with this speech.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
This is when neo-Nazis were starting to rebrand as alt-right, but as you can see, they were still super mask off. If you don't know, Hail Victory is English for Sieg Heil. Anyway, listen closely to this part of the speech.
To be white is to be a striver, a crusader, an explorer, and a conqueror. We build, we produce, we go upward.
And that is a regular neo-Nazi talking point that you hear often these days, that white people build, create, invent things, that they're the source of civilization or whatever. Keep that in the back of your mind, but enough of Richard Spencer for now. Because this rotten hard-boiled egg is Stephen Miller. He's one of the only high-level White House staffers that stayed with Trump after his first term. And he's Trump's main immigration advisor, the architect of Trump's immigration policy. And even though he comes from a Jewish family, his own family members say that guy totally would have been an SS officer back in the day. Anyway, this is a section of his speech at the Charlie Kirk Memorial.
Our lineage and our legacy hails back to Athens, to Rome, to Philadelphia, to Monticello. Our ancestors built the cities. They produced the art and architecture. They built the industry. Erica stands on the shoulders of thousands of years of warriors, of women who raised up families, raised up city, raised up industry, raised up civilization, who pulled us out of the caves and the darkness into the light. The light will defeat the dark. We will prevail over the forces of wickedness and evil. They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us. Because we stand for what is good, what is virtuous, what is noble. And to those trying to incite violence against us, those trying to foment hatred against us, what do you have? You have nothing. You are nothing. You are wickedness, you are jealousy, you are envy, you are hatred. You are nothing. You can build nothing. You can produce nothing. You can create nothing. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who create. We are the ones who lift up humanity.
Yeah, things are getting dark, man. Things are getting really dark. Anyone who knows anything about Nazi propaganda know that that was a Nazi speech. Not even a watered-down crypto-Nazi speech. That is a straight-up Nazi speech from the 1930s. And they feel comfortable doing this because they know that the killing of Charlie Kirk has given them a way to dismiss and invalidate comparisons to the Nazis. But holy shit is that mask off, and holy shit should that make you worry about what is to come.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushua, Ba'Hashem Makakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstones. Salutations to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. Unto the Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. Don't want this to be a quick show to the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua. Brothers already did it. Did the video on the guy Stephen Miller, but this one, I like this version because of the simple fact he just proved who they are. That's the best way I could say. All right. A lot of things in this situation. One of the things is he said, well, here's a part.
Is Stephen Miller. He's one of the only high-level White House staffers that stayed with Trump after his first term. And he's Trump's main immigration advisor, the architect of Trump's immigration policy. And even though he comes from a Jewish family, his own family...
So, I don't know how to stop or pause TikTok, whatever. Instagram. So that one part right there, that was number one. Now, as ironic it is with these people that claim to be the small hatters, they could easily hide amongst their own people because they're all the same people. They're all the same people. So Stephen Miller's going out there pretending to be an ordinary Caucasian. That's the other factor, right? And according to these small hatters around the world, the Rebbe's, is that they're two separate people. So here it is. He's inciting. Um, he's boasting himself. He's inciting. So Edomite supremacy. I can't call them white because they're not. Edomite supremacy. They have this apart. I don't know. I can't say the word right now. The superior mindset that they're above all. Right. And since they're above all, they could do whatever they want. They lost that savor. Might I add, his people, all right, they the ones that's stirring this thing up. His original people, they look at everybody as goyim, even the other people like themselves. So that was one thing. But it was something else that he said. Our brothers have picked it up. I'm gonna kind of dissect it a little bit since I can't pause it and so forth.
Athens, to Rome, to Philadelphia.
Why did he start with Athens? Let's go into that one real quick. Because these mother effers, they know. Matter of fact, boom. First Maccabees 1:7. Oh, come on. I haven't used you in a while. All right. Let me get out of this and come back. Why would they consider the first thing out of his mouth? Because they know where it started. It says, First Maccabees 1:7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bear rule rule everyone in his place. Matter of fact, I was supposed to start at 1. And it happened after Alexander, the son of Philip, Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius of the prince of Persia, and the Medes, that he reigned in the stead the first over Greece. This is why he said Athens in Greece, right? I gotta go to this one. Revelation 13:1. It says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns." 7 heads represent is Greece. Greece, Rome, Germany Minor Major, Spain, France, and Britain. All right, and later on, the 10 heads will become NATO EU. The 10. Okay, so when he saw the beast, he saw his beginning point. That's why let me read that again. The 7 heads. So they know what one of their main heads is. But here's another thing. It says, "The beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear." The leopard represented Alexander the Great. So the pivotal point of Esau was what? Greece. Okay? Joel. Joel 3 and I just want to go to the point where it says Grecians. 6. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem ye have sold unto the Grecians. What's the other one? I just had it in my head. It was just there. So Greece is the number one thing that Esau know that is a part of his history. Amos 9 and 12, I believe, or 13. Not been Judah for me. Amos? No, Zechariah. Salakia, I'm just near it is. 13, it says, when I have bent Judah for me and filled a bow with Ephraim, so a bow and arrow, okay? The Lord is saying his people is going to be as a bow and arrow. And he's going to let loose and raise up thy sons. Oh, Zion, raise up. Why the Lord's going to raise us up? The Lord's going to raise us up because we've been destroyed. All right. We've been put in a position of servitude, been thrown down to never rise up again. All right. When you go into Joel, which I just did, I just want to get to the point. They had us in servitude. That's part of the history that they're trying to erase right now. Okay. So them trying to erase that part of that history because of the simple fact is part of their shame of glory. How can you say you built up something when you're not the ones that actually did anything? You just took the credit for it. But as I digress, it says, and I will raise up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece. So these few scriptures clearly show you they know who the hell they are. They didn't even pretend up and down that when we called them Edomites, there's no such thing as Edomites or any of that sort. But they know that they are the Edomites. And they know the key pivotal point of their empire, of them coming into the position of power, it was during Alexander the Greek. All right. He was an Edomite. His father was an Edomite. Let me go back to Maccabees real quick because something else. I'll jump down to 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died because Greece, and he went all the way to India. He took down the mighty empire, the Persian and Mede Empire. He took that down as revenge of what they did unto them. That was something that it was saying that was suicidal for him to do. It says, and his servants bear rule everyone in his place. So they split the kingdom. The 4 servants split Alexander the Greek's kingdom. All right. The Ptolemies was Egypt, and the way Ptolemy got to be a pharaoh, he took the body of Alexander to Egypt. So when they saw that, it was like, oh wow, like yeah, he's a god. All right. Then you had the Seleucid dynasty because Daniel's 11th chapter goes into the 6 Syrian wars. All right, the king of the south versus the king of the north. So there was always infighting amongst them. But here's the point. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. So yeah, you could call yourself the Greeks and so forth. But according to the scriptures, after you came into power, evils multiply on the planet Earth. So that's an indictment to kind of people that you are. But see, they want to go out there and tell the world, oh, how great they are and how they civilized this, that, to the third. They ain't civilized nothing. They gotten civilized. Okay, this is why in Job, I have to bring that up. Oh yeah, well hold on. There's something else that he said before I go to Job. See, I hate when it does that. Okay. Before I go to Job, there's something else that he said. So remember he said Athens, so I just broke that down. And then he went talk about the Romans, right? Because they got into Rome, Julius Caesar, Augustus. When you go into the history, Augustus was the friend. He was the nephew of Julius Caesar, also the friend of what's this guy's name? Herod, Agrippa. All right. This is why how Jerusalem was occupied. So everything that they're claiming, there's Edomites behind that. Even in the, I believe the Jewish Encyclopedic said that Rome, modern Rome, was um, Edom. Okay, so he himself is a small hatter that's stirring up the pot, pretending to be one of ordinary, the ordinary, the ordinary Edomites. Oh wait, I just now realized that the ordinary Edomites. This guy right here. Let me see if I. This guy right here. Okay, he stirred up the pot. Then he brings back the history of how they originated and how they civilized everything and so forth. So those are indictments. According to the scriptures, those will be considered indictment. Well, according to this word, that'll be an indictment. That's for telling of yourself, right? But it's something else that he said.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia also was part of Greece. Philadelphia, um, which goes into it's part of Greece, but it's also what's these. I just mentioned the Ptolemies. The Ptolemies, all right, also Edomites. So, which meant brotherly love, or yeah, brotherly love, or something like that. I forgot how you break it down. I'm not gonna go into that real quick, but all these key things gotta put two to two together. We gotta know when the enemy is saying something and they're telling on themselves. All right, and this is one of the main things. The brother did the show. The brother from Vegas, he did a beautiful show on it, proving that how proud they are. And this is a proud list of things for them to be proud. Pride, it goes before the destruction. It goes before a fall. We built this, we built that. All right. He mentions all the great empires, but prior to the Greeks, there was far greater empires than them. The Babylonians, all right, with the Medo-Persian Empire, which had far superior reigns than the Greeks, the Romans. When Nebuchadnezzar had his dream, he saw him. When Daniel broke it down, the head of that statue was gold. Gold is more precious than brass. All right, far greater. And silver, which is beneath gold, is far greater than was it brass or bronze? I forgot how it goes in Daniel's. Was it the second chapter? But those are far greater than the puny ass Greeks. So if you want to go to great societies, wouldn't the golden era of any society would be far greater? But this is the pride of this man. All right, so let me let this play.
In architecture, they built the industry.
So the architecture, like the brothers going into, when you look at Basra, when you look at Mount Seir, Basra, and so forth, is the same architecture as Greeks. The Greeks, the Romans, the pillars, even here in New York City, Washington D.C., all of it. It's the same. It's the same thing. So it's not. That's not even something to be beholding. Anything. It's like, okay, this is the same. It's just recycled junk. There's nothing new under the sun. Congratulations, right? But that's just devil for you. Let's go on.
They produced the art and architecture. They built the industry. Erica stands on the shoulders of thousands of years of warriors, of women who raised up families, raised up city, raised up industry, raised up civilization. who pulled us out of the caves and the dark.
Booyah. Pulled us out of the caves. Right there. Pulled them out of the caves. These mother effers know exactly who they are. They are natural born cave dwellers. That's Esau. All right. Let's prove it. Matter of fact, let me just go to Obadiah. And then I'm gonna prove it more. Obadiah 1 and I mean the whole thing is bad, but I'm gonna just go to the point 3. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee. So right now, Esau is being deceived. This is his last hurrah. He knows he's losing power. He knows for a fact his world's coming to an end. And like everybody been saying, like, who are you going to war with? And his whole thing is going to war with darkness. I mean, you don't get no plainer than that. But they know for a fact that their world's coming to an end. So they gotta rouse themselves up. Because prior to this whole thing for the past, this whole woke thing, there's been a lot of white guilt. Okay? And the scripture says what real quick. I come back to Obadiah. I believe brother didn't read it, but Sirach should be 41:8, I'm thinking. Yeah, spirit. It says, oh no, ungodly men. The children, there it is. There's been a whole bunch of white guilt going on, right? Sirach 41 and 7. The children will complain of an ungodly father because they shall be reproached for his sake. So the past 5 years, maybe more, there's been a campaign going against Edomites and making them feel guilty for the past things that they have done. So you have a whole generation of Edomites that they feel like they've been castrated. All right. So now the campaign with this whole Kirk guy was to re-spark that mindset that they had. Don't feel guilty for what your forefathers did to get this land. They came, they conquered. That's a spill. All right. That's what they've been. Now that's the venom. That's them come back. That's why they rousing up rousing up the folks for it. All right. It says, woe be unto you, ungodly men, which have forsake the law of the Most High. For if you increase, it shall be to your destruction. So, so they want to bring back their kind, but as for their own destruction, the Lord's using their pride against them. Okay, this is what we're seeing. This is the last venom that's going to be spit. It says back in Obadiah 3, the pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. So coming out the caves. So they know for a fact that the term Caucasian goes to them, which means cave dwellers, whose habitation is on high, will say in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? I'm just proving that these are natural born cave dwellers. Job 30, I believe it's 7. No, I gotta go up. 5. It says they were driven forth from among men. So this right there, now there's history have shown wherever these people go, they've been casted out. All right. Now I mentioned the small hatter. A lot of their lineage also a little piss stopped, so to speak. So they went from Mount Seir. From Mount Seir, they spread. All right. Some spread east. Some spread amongst the Greeks, amongst the Romans. You know, they spread like everybody else was, because that was part of prophecy. Some spread to the land that they call Ukraine today, which became the Caucasus Mountains. Now, the Caucasus Mountains, there was these people called Khazars. But they were known for what? Being ruthless. All right. Everything that they did, they was ruthless. If you want to get with them, they was hired as mercenaries. Okay. So these are not people that's well loved around the world. So they was driven from men, which men of color. Okay. Wherever they went, it was like, yo, get these people out of here. Get these thieves out of here. They cried after them as after a thief. What do you do with a thief? You chase them. All right. If you catch them, you handle it. So they was natural born thieves. This is part of their predicate. This is part of their DNA. They're natural born thieves. To dwell, and this is the gut punch. This is the reality check. To dwell in the clefts of the valleys and caves of the earth and the rocks. So they was kicked off from men of color, men of understanding, men, period. Okay. And it was chased, it was reverted back to the caves. So yeah, when he said they came back out of the caves, yeah, they know exactly who they are. See, they have it where they make people believe that it's this great thing, but this proves that there's a God. Daniel's 4:17 shows you. It says, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth to whosoever he will, and set up over it the bases of men." So, out of all the classifications of men on the planet Earth, this is the lowest form of a man, period. Under this man's guidance, under this man's rulership, out of their own mouths, which is ironically funny, the world is in the verge of its extinction. Beasts are in the verge of extinction. They call it the world. What's the situation that's happened with the world? They call it climate change, and all these different philosophies and terminologies to say that they and to basically say they screwed up the planet, but yet they want to blame all humanity. These are the same people that sit there and tell you how much they built up humanity, yet took themselves out of the darkness and gave the world light. What light did you give? Scripture tells you, Isaiah 14 and 11, it says, "Thy pomp is brought down to the graves." This is a future prophecy. "And thy noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, the corrosion of your own society." Tell you, Habakkuk, that the walls, all right, shall cry against you, because this land was built on blood, unjustified murders. All right, it wasn't killing; it was murders. Everything that they did, they got it underhanded. It says so. Everything's corroded in the United States of America. It says, "Under thee the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?" So how and they will sit there, oh, it's talking about demon Satan. No. Lucifer means light bearer. All right. And also the king of Babylon. The king of Babylon, which that Babylon is what? Land of confusion. So the king of the land of confusion, all right, is falling from their heavenly grace. And this is what the problem that they're having right now. They could feel it. They could feel the power slipping. You know, they could feel it. Because what is the main purpose of this rally for when they're supposed to be mourning somebody? This is a rallying cry because they're outnumbered. This is why they coming out so hard. There's a movie called Executive Order, I believe, which is an old clip. I never seen the movie. I just seen that one clip. And they were basically saying, which is known, that there will be Edomites in America will be outnumbered with brown people, brown and blacks, more than ever. So this is the last rallying cry. Because why? They're falling from grace. They're falling from their heaven. They have to remind themselves their history. Right? It says, son of the morning, heart that cut down to the ground, which did us weaken the nations. So the whole campaign that they did after they came out the caves and they took Europe, they stole Europe. All right. The first thing that they did was spread their madness to this side of the world. And what it ended up doing, they weakened the nations. They weakened all the nations. For that has said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven, and I exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. Who are the stars of the Most High? Is it talking about the actual stars? They haven't even passed the earth's atmosphere. It's talking about the people of the Lord. It says, I will sit also on the mount of the congregation and the side of the north. The bulk of the majority of the Lord's people is here in North America. And all are subject, all are in this man's hand. So when he's talking about fighting against the darkness, of the people that's envy and so forth, he's talking about coming against the nation of Israel, which they've been doing, says in Revelations 12 and 17, how they was going to make war. The dragon was going to make war with the woman. And that's what they're doing. All right, that's what they've been doing. We always have been at war with them. The thing was that majority of you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, you didn't know you was at war. All right, let me finish this off. And it says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, to control the airspace and so forth. I will be like the Most High. That's that God complex that they have. All right, this is what they exuding again, which is a false bravado. Who said it? A real king doesn't have to tell the world that he's a king. Oh, it was Game of Thrones. Tyrion Lannister told his his grandson, that he said, "I'm the king. I'm the king." He said, "A real king doesn't have to say that he's a king." You know, so you don't have to sit there and tell us if you the king of the world, you running shit. You don't have to tell us you're running shit. We know you're running shit. It's common. It's common. It's a common denominator. You on top, everybody else in the bottom. The difference is now everybody realizes that you on top, and everybody else got the same tools that you have, and they're willing to take you out of your position of power. That's all. Yet that shall be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So from this heavenly state, the beacon, America, the city of dreams, America, the land of opportunity, and all this stuff, the American dream, and all this controlling. You could go as an American citizen, Edomite. You could go anywhere in the world. You just say, "I'm American," and they're like, "Oh, I love America." Apple pie, baseball, all that. Bravado. Your currency at one time was the top of it all. You could go anywhere in the world. They love American dollar. They love your culture. They love everything about it. Which your culture is not even your culture. Culture is Jake's culture. But it doesn't matter. All of that. The Roaring Twenties. I was talking about Broadwalk Empire. Rewatching that. They was smiling, having a blast. Every night was party time. Every day. You know, they could do anything, everything. Everybody just loved this place. That's you gonna go on down to the pit, son. you know, from the yep, from Athens to Rome to Philadelphia to great USA, down to the pits of fucking, right back to the caves, to your original state. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble and did shake kingdoms? So it's going to be an astonishment. The same bravado that you spewing out of your freaking mouth. People is going to be like, yo, is you the same people? You know, that had the nuclear arms race, that was telling people how to conduct themselves, how to be civilized while you drop bombs and destroy nations. Everybody's just believing your goal, you was the big brother, the police of the world, you know, that made the world as a wilderness and destroy the cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners, which the most people that has been in prison is right here in America. All right. Well, blacks, they run the prison system. There's more black people because they're so violent. It's another one. This is another damning thing against you. You refuse to open the prison for your own people, for the people that's under you. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his house. So in the kingdom of heaven, after a period of time, after that 1,000-year period, and even before that, these nations are gonna have their own land. They're gonna be tributaries to the nation of Israel, but you ain't gonna have shit. You're gonna have nothing. Oh, you know what come in my mind? Oh, Job 20th chapter tells you you're gonna be like your own dung, right? You're gonna vomit back what you took. So yeah, that boastful, beautiful thing, that was beautiful. That was a damning thing. All right. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, as a remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden underfoot. In other words, as a worthless dead body. You're just gonna be tossed to the side. All right. We're gonna throw you in the pit, in the ditches, whatever you want to call it. And when the time comes, like it says in Isaiah the 24th chapter, when it's time for you to give you your work assignments to build our kingdom that's gonna last forever and ever and ever and ever. All right, that eternal kingdom, paved in gold. You're gonna you're gonna build it. You're gonna be a prominent figure building the kingdom of heaven. Oh, you talking about building? How you built civilization? Oh, you're gonna build the civilization, all right. You're gonna usher in the kingdom of heaven, and you're not gonna be a participant. You're not gonna be able to enjoy anything that you built, just like how we did. All right, all these curses are coming upon you. Hey, we built America. We built this whole world. Not getting credit for it. Wisdom of Solomon in the 5th chapter. So in the kingdom of heaven, it's going to be vice versa. You're going to be building. We take credit for it. Right? All the great, well, I can't say, you're not going to have no great inventions. Because you're not creators, you're destroyers. All right? When after 1,000 years, the Lord's going to get rid of you. That's the rule. That shall not be joined with them in burial, because that has destroyed thy land, America, Europe, all the land that you stole, you destroyed it, destroyed the people, and slain thy people. Self-mutilate, self-destruction. Now, Trump tells the truth about artism and how they caused this thing. And of course, it's not going to get no spin. They finally admit the problem that was caused and how they the ones that did that. They'll say, oh, life expectancy is in high, all-time high. Yeah, so that way you could drain them in the long run. So all that's count. Everything that this man has done, put aside what he did to the nation of Israel, which is the most important thing. Everything that he's done, he's guilty. Then you add the original sin, the slaughtering of the Lord's people. So, yeah, he's screwed. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. So it's proven that this is a man, all right? A bloodline, a people. And it says, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers. So you being approached because of the things that your forefathers have done, all right? You're being approached for that, and you will be slaughtered for that. It's not well. I'm not just saying it. This is what the Bible says. When is it gonna happen? I don't know. It's gonna happen soon, because you're at your last wit. You're at the end of your kingdom. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob's the beginning of it that follows. It says, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not possess, nor they rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will raise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name, the remnant, the son, the nephew, saith the Lord, which is entire the male bloodline. So there's gonna be no more George Washington, no Washington Ave, or Lincoln High School or whatever. Hey, none of that. None of these things is gonna matter no more, because you're gonna be taken out for the devils that you are. So with that being said, shalom to the elect, the nation is shalom.